So, after all that, the workshop happens and everything. Um, and as far as I know, I mean, people from the community talk to me, but it doesn't sound like they ever did anything with Harris Gamos after that. So I don't completely know what the story is with the Oracle, something that was sort of like, this huge event. And my feeling is that there was a healing that was supposed to happen because of all that. That involved all of us. And because it didn't happen, because Lisa was reluctant, that's why it stopped. Lisa demonized the very family that she's supposed to be looking out for. And all of us who you've shunned, even though those things hurt and we've got opinions about that, are still looking out for you. Still love you. Every one of you. And every one of those people in the community who jumped on the bandwagon, because they were just slinging arrows left and right, because they need to uphold the same narrative in order to feel safe. So everyone circled the wagons around Lisa. And everyone thought they were rushing to Lisa's defense. Oh my God, the aliens are here. The reptilians have infiltrated the inner circle. Protect the Oracle at all costs. And it's complete bullshit. So, there was just, I think probably weeks into months went by where we were, processing these things. Just like I said, just everyone just turning on me. And then it pretty much culminated in a letter that I wrote that I knew that Lisa would see, that just basically was pretty much addressed to one of the people who became more inner circle after the Bali trip, I think. Someone who had shared with me their misgivings about Lisa, and being welcomed into the inner circle with Lisa, all that I said on my way out to this person was, okay, you're in the inner circle now. You've told me that there are certain things about Lisa that you think are a little off. All that I'm asking is that you tell her directly. Planting the seed, and I think I mentioned a couple other people in Lisa's inner circle, just to put the piece in there. All these people, or at least a bunch of these people, at one time or another have mentioned their misgivings about Lisa, or just, something feels off or whatever. So it was just a call to all those people to stop whispering it in private and tell it to her directly. And then if they can tell it to her directly, how does Lisa handle it? I don't know if it ever happened. I haven't been in the community in years. I do listen to Lisa's newsletters, and I will be commenting on them. And like I said, I don't really feel bad about asking anybody in that community to just print off anything that they can find as far as my name is concerned. Because one of the things not having access to that information is I can't go back through there and talk about this in any more detail. It doesn't need to be a huge part of my life anymore, but I gotta hold out hope as far as the healing is concerned, because it's crazy. It's just like a family. It's just like a family. And if you've ever been the scapegoat in the family, you do have to accept that the healing may not ever happen. You have to just be on your way and do the best that you can. And the brighter and the more successful you get, it's very possible that you may be even hated even more, because you're just reflecting more of the shadow back at the people who aren't ready to face it. So in the future, there's a pretty good possibility. Probably what I'm going to be doing is, I do listen to the newsletters, like I said. I get a lot of information and support from there at times. At other times, just complete shadowy bullshit, because I know that it's going through this particular lens with Lisa. So obviously something huge is happening on the planet right now, moving into Aquarius, huge healing and activations happening. But I will be weighing in on the pieces that are incongruous to what Lisa says or claims, because it's important to clarify. And like I said, I haven't been in the community in a while, so I don't know if there's been more suicides. I don't know if more people have lost it in the community. And then there's probably gradients of that. You know, there's like complete psychosis to complete sober, level-headed person, and you know, everywhere in between there. But I think it's important because if you are in that community and you are maybe putting a lot of stake in it or putting all your eggs in one basket, or you could possibly be on the verge of a psychological break, that you'll watch this video and stop. You may not be ready for this information. And if you're having any kind of extreme psychological issue, the things about that information that are off are going to be really bad for you because you can't discern it. You're too involved in the narrative. It's like a train, you know. And if you don't know when to get off that train, or get on another train, or you can't clearly see that this train is going into some murky place that people say is love and light, but it's not, or just the organic timeline, and it's not. The organic timeline is you. There, as my mother used to always say this, and I just love it. I don't know where the saying comes from. There are as many paths to heaven as there are hearts. Reach heaven independently. When you get there, everyone who did the same thing is gonna be there. And maybe we're there now. So I will be commenting on these things in the future. There's a number of things, but I think this just really gives good context. And just let me say to all the people who know something about this story or who were involved in this story, 9 years ago, I was ready to say and tried to say everything that I'm saying now, but Lisa and whoever was involved didn't want to hear it. Not that I was perfect, not that I wasn't hurt, but I was ready to talk about it, and that's the difference. So, until the healing happens, I'm going to continue to speak out about some of these things that are incongruous. Arthur was not a real person in the sense of a medieval king at the time. It's allegory. You want to find out who King Esus, whom the story was written about, and the characters in that story, you will look into the research of Ralph Ellis and read the material yourself. I have not read the Vulgate Cycle. I don't know a whole lot about it. It's a writing that is about these stories. It is a writing where the Grail legends come from, that were about what happened in the time of Jesus, who was King Esus. Do not be fooled. And on a higher level, on a soul level, you are Arthur. And whatever the female version is of that. And as far as Lisa is concerned, if she is not sitting at a true round table, she is not clear. That is not organic. You can make mistakes. We all make mistakes. But when you start booting everyone who should be at that table to make yourself feel secure, you're not that. You're not the king. You're not the queen. You're not clear. Peace and love to everybody who has been involved. Peace and love to everyone who is involved. Until next time, thank you.